Imagine commanding respect without saying a word, mastering your mind to rise above chaos, and unlocking the Stoic secrets that made legends like Marcus Aurelius unstoppable. Welcome to ZENLIGHT 8, where we dive into timeless wisdom to transform your life today. In this video, we'll reveal 10 profound Stoic lessons on the power of silence, mental control, and strategic timing, practical tools you can apply right now to earn respect and live with purpose. Watch until the end to discover how to harness these insights in our fast-paced world and become the wisest version of yourself. Let's get started. Imagine standing in the eye of a storm, chaos swirling around you, demands piling up, voices shouting for your attention, yet you remain unshaken, your mind a fortress of clarity. This isn't a fantasy, it's the power of mastering your thoughts, the cornerstone of wisdom that Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius championed centuries ago. In a world that bombards us with notifications, deadlines, and endless noise, the ability to control your mind is not just a skill, it's your greatest asset, a beacon that guides you through life's turbulence to shape your destiny. The first lesson from Stoic philosophy, as shared in this profound exploration, is that while you cannot tame the external world, you can command the inner one. By harnessing critical thinking and mindfulness, you can forge a life of purpose, resilience, and unshakable calm, no matter what challenges come your way. Let's dive deep into this timeless truth and uncover how it applies to our fast-paced, modern lives. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled an empire while battling wars, betrayals, and personal losses, penned a simple yet seismic truth in his Meditations: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. These words, scrawled in a private journal amidst the chaos of the 2nd century, resonate just as fiercely today. Picture yourself in a typical American day. Your inbox is overflowing, your phone buzzes with texts, and a coworker's snarky comment lingers in your mind. The temptation to react, to snap back, to stress, to spiral is overwhelming. But what if, like Aurelius, you paused and recognized that the only thing truly in your control is how you think? This isn't about ignoring the world's messiness, it's about refusing to let it hijack your inner peace. The Stoics taught that emotions are like uninvited guests. They arrive, but you decide whether they stay or how they influence your actions. Anger might knock, fear might linger, but reason remains the master of the house. To understand this, let's consider a modern example: Sarah, a 32-year-old software engineer in Silicon Valley. Her days are a whirlwind of coding sprints, team meetings, and looming deadlines. One morning, a critical project crashes due to a bug she didn't catch, and her boss sends a curt email that feels like a punch to the gut. Her first instinct is to fire off a defensive reply or drown in self-doubt. But Sarah, inspired by a podcast on Stoicism, takes a different path. She steps away from her desk, closes her eyes, and breathes deeply, asking herself, "What can I control here?" Instead of reacting impulsively, she observes her emotions, frustration, embarrassment, and lets them pass like clouds in a stormy sky. She then applies critical thinking. Is this email about my worth, or is it about a fixable mistake? What's the most effective way to respond? By evening, she's sent a calm, solution-focused reply, earning her boss's respect and fixing the bug with newfound clarity. Sarah's story shows that mastering your mind isn't about suppressing feelings, but about channeling them through reason, a practice as vital in today's tech-driven world as it was in ancient Rome. This approach hinges on 2 pillars: critical thinking and mindfulness, twin tools that empower you to navigate life with precision. Critical thinking is your mental filter, a shield against the flood of misinformation, biases, and knee-jerk reactions that define much of modern life. In an era where social media amplifies outrage and 24/7 news cycles thrive on panic, the ability to pause and question is revolutionary. Imagine scrolling through Twitter and seeing a heated debate about a political issue. Your gut urges you to jump in with a fiery comment, but critical thinking stops you. You ask, is this post accurate? What's the source? Will my comment add value or just fuel the noise? By stepping back, you avoid the trap of reactive anger and preserve your mental energy for what matters, perhaps a thoughtful conversation with a friend instead. Studies from the University of Michigan show that people who practice critical thinking under stress make better decisions and report lower anxiety, proving that a disciplined mind is a liberated one. Mindfulness, the second pillar, is the art of observing your thoughts without being swept away by them. It's not about sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop, but about cultivating awareness in the mess of daily life. Take Jake, a high school teacher in Chicago who feels overwhelmed by grading papers and managing rowdy students. After a particularly chaotic day, he starts practicing mindfulness during his 10-minute commute home. Instead of replaying arguments with students or stressing about unfinished work, he focuses on the sensation of the steering wheel, the rhythm of his breath, the hum of the radio. When a negative thought arises, "I'm failing these kids," he notices it, questions its truth, and reframes it. "I'm doing my best, and tomorrow I'll try a new approach." This simple act, rooted in Stoic practices, rewires his brain over time. Research from Harvard's Center for Mindfulness shows that mindfulness reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's panic button, while strengthening the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational decision-making. Jake's calmer demeanor not only improves his teaching but also earns him respect from students who sense his steady presence. Applying these principles in 2025's hyperconnected world is both a challenge and an opportunity. We're bombarded with distractions, push notifications, viral TikToks, the pressure to hustle 24/7. Yet, the Stoic call to master your mind offers a countercultural antidote. Start small, carve out 5 minutes each morning to journal, as Aurelius did. Write down a question to guide your day: what can I control today? Or how can I respond with clarity? This practice grounds you before the world's noise creeps in. When stress hits, say, a traffic jam on the I-95 or a tense Zoom meeting, pause and breathe. Count to 4 as you inhale, hold for 4, exhale for 4. This box breathing technique, used by Navy SEALs, calms your nervous system and clears your mind for critical thinking. Ask, is this worth my energy? What's the wisest move? These micro moments of mindfulness and reflection build a habit of self-mastery that ripples into every area of life. Let's zoom out to a broader perspective, the philosophy of living well. Stoicism isn't just about surviving chaos, it's about thriving with purpose. In American culture, where success is often measured by wealth, status, or Instagram likes, the Stoic focus on inner strength is a radical act. Consider the story of Lisa, a single mom in Atlanta who juggles 2 jobs and parenting. She used to feel crushed by societal expectations: perfect house, perfect kids, perfect life. After discovering Stoicism through a library book, she began redefining success. Instead of chasing external validation, she focused on what she could control: her effort, her attitude, her love for her kids. Each night, she reflects on one thing she did well, like staying patient during a tantrum or finishing a work task. This shift, grounded in critical thinking and mindfulness, transforms her stress into gratitude. Lisa's story echoes a truth from Epictetus: there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. By mastering her mind, she finds joy in the present, a lesson we can all apply in a culture obsessed with more. The emotional weight of this lesson lies in its promise: no matter your circumstances, you hold the key to your peace. Whether you're a CEO navigating boardroom drama or a barista grinding through a 10-hour shift, the power to shape your destiny begins within. This isn't about perfection. Stoics weren't robots. Aurelius wrestled with doubt, Sarah, Jake, and Lisa had bad days. But they chose to return to reason, to question their reactions, to observe their thoughts like a scientist studying a specimen. That choice, repeated daily, builds a life of resilience and meaning. In a 2023 study by the American Psychological Association, people who practiced mindfulness and critical thinking reported a 25% increase in life satisfaction even during economic uncertainty. The data confirms what the Stoics knew: a mastered mind is a life well lived. So, how do you start today? Pick one moment to pause, maybe when your boss critiques your work or when a family member pushes your buttons. Instead of reacting, take a breath and ask, what's in my control? How can I respond with wisdom? Write down your insights at day's end, building a personal meditations to track your growth. Over time, these small acts of discipline will transform how you see yourself and how others see you. You'll become the person who stays calm in the storm, whose clarity inspires others, whose presence commands respect without a word. The journey to mastering your mind is lifelong, but each step forward is a victory, a testament to your inner strength. As we've seen, controlling your mind is the foundation of wisdom, a truth that empowers you to live with purpose in a chaotic world. But what happens when you pair this inner mastery with the strategic use of silence? The next lesson explores how silence, far from being empty, becomes a powerful tool to amplify your influence and deepen your understanding of life. Have you ever noticed how the quietest person in a room often commands the most attention? Not because they demand it, but because their stillness carries a weight that words alone can't match. In a world obsessed with noise, endless chatter, social media rants, the race to be heard, silence is a radical act, a tool of immense power. The Stoic philosophers, from Socrates to Marcus Aurelius, understood this truth: silence isn't weakness, it's a strategic force that amplifies your words, sharpens your insight, and earns you respect. The second lesson in our Stoic journey reveals why silence is more powerful than words and how active listening, as exemplified by Socrates, transforms your presence. By choosing when to speak and when to stay quiet, you unlock a deeper understanding of others and yourself, creating an aura of authority that resonates in today's fast-paced world. Let's dive into this profound lesson and explore how to wield silence as your greatest ally. Silence, as the Stoics taught, is not the absence of sound but the presence of control. It's the deliberate choice to pause, to listen, to absorb before responding. In a culture where everyone's shouting to be noticed, think of heated cable news debates or viral TikTok arguments, silence stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. It's not about having nothing to say, it's about knowing that your words gain power when they're chosen with care. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, mastered this art through his Socratic method. He wasn't known for long speeches or flashy rhetoric. Instead, he listened deeply, asked probing questions, and only spoke when his words could cut through noise to reveal truth. His silence wasn't passive, it was active, a tool to draw out others' thoughts while sharpening his own. When he did speak, his words carried the weight of a civilization's wisdom, influencing thinkers for centuries. Imagine applying that same principle today. In a boardroom, a family dinner, or even a casual coffee shop chat, your silence can make your voice the one people lean in to hear. Consider Emily, a 28-year-old marketing manager in Seattle. Her team meetings were a battleground of egos, colleagues interrupting, pitching half-baked ideas, vying for the boss's approval. Emily used to jump into the fray, eager to prove her worth, but her ideas often got lost in the noise. Frustrated, she stumbled across a Stoic podcast that praised the power of silence. She decided to experiment. At the next meeting, instead of speaking first, she really listened. She noted her colleagues' tones, their hesitations, the unspoken tensions behind their words. When a heated debate erupted over a campaign strategy, she stayed quiet, observing the room's dynamics. Only when the discussion stalled did she speak, offering a concise, well-thought-out plan that addressed everyone's concerns. The room fell silent, heads nodded, and her boss later praised her quiet confidence. Emily's silence didn't just win the day, it reshaped how her team saw her, a leader, not just another voice. Her story echoes a 2022 study from Stanford University which found that people who listen actively in group settings are perceived as 30% more influential than those who dominate conversations. Silence, it turns out, is a megaphone for wisdom. Why does silence hold such power? Because it creates space for observation, for understanding, for impact. When you're silent, you're not just hearing words, you're reading the subtext. You notice the quiver in a friend's voice when they say they're fine, the clenched jaw of a coworker under pressure, the hidden motives behind a client's demands. This depth of perception is what Stoics like Seneca prized. He wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings," suggesting that those who faced hardship learned to value quiet over chaos. In our modern context, silence is a shield against the overstimulation of 2025's digital age. Think about your last scroll through Instagram, a barrage of opinions, ads, and outrage. The urge to comment, to react, is almost automatic. But silence lets you step back, filter the noise, and respond, if at all, with intention. It's the difference between a knee-jerk retweet and a thoughtful message that sparks real dialogue. By choosing silence, you reclaim your mental space, a precious commodity in a world that thrives on distraction. Active listening, the heart of the Stoic lesson, is where silence becomes transformative. It's not just staying quiet, it's engaging with what's being said, body and soul. Picture a coffee date with a friend who's venting about a bad breakup. Instead of planning your response or checking your phone, you focus on their words, their eyes, the way their hands fidget. You nod, ask a gentle question, let them feel heard. That presence, that silence, builds a connection deeper than any advice you could offer. Socrates used this approach to unravel complex ideas, but you can use it to strengthen relationships or navigate workplace drama. A 2023 Harvard Business Review study found that leaders who practice active listening foster 25% higher team trust and productivity. In a culture that rewards multitasking, giving someone your full attention is a rare and powerful gift. It signals respect, not just for others but for yourself, because you're choosing where to invest your energy. How do you cultivate this skill in today's hustle? Start small, but with intention. In your next conversation, resist the urge to interrupt or formulate a reply while the other person's talking. Instead, focus on their words like you're solving a puzzle. Notice their tone, their pauses, their body language. If you're in a heated moment, say a family argument over holiday plans, pause before responding. Take a deep breath and ask, what are they really trying to say? This simple act, rooted in Stoic mindfulness, shifts you from reaction to understanding. Another practical step is to set a silence quota each day. Spend 10 minutes without speaking or consuming media, maybe during your morning coffee or a walk to the subway. Use the time to observe your surroundings, the chirp of birds, the rhythm of footsteps, the play of light on a skyscraper. This practice, inspired by Stoic reflection, sharpens your ability to notice details, a skill that translates to better listening and wiser decisions. Over time, these moments of silence will make your words rarer but weightier, earning you respect without effort. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture, silence as a philosophy of living well. In American culture, where speak your truth is a mantra and extroversion is king, choosing silence is a bold statement. It's a rejection of the pressure to perform, to fill every gap with noise. Think of Keanu Reeves, a modern icon who embodies the Stoic principle. He rarely seeks the spotlight, yet his quiet humility and deliberate speech make every word he says resonate. When he shares a story of kindness or loss, the world listens, not because he's loud, but because his silence speaks volumes. This aligns with Seneca's wisdom: silence is a mark of experience forged through life's trials. In 2025, where mental health struggles are rising, 33% of Americans reported anxiety in a 2024 Gallup poll. Silence offers a path to clarity. It's a way to pause the chaos, to listen to your own heart, to find peace amid the storm. By embracing silence, you're not just surviving, you're crafting a life of depth and purpose. The emotional pull of this lesson lies in its promise: silence empowers you to be seen without striving. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your presence, honed by active listening and thoughtful restraint, does the talking. Whether you're a student navigating group projects or a parent mediating sibling squabbles, silence lets you stand out as the one who understands, the one who's steady. It's a skill that grows with practice, transforming how you move through the world. So, next time you're tempted to fill a quiet moment with words, pause. Listen. Let silence work its magic. You'll be amazed at how much power lies in saying nothing at all. But silence alone isn't enough. It must be paired with keen observation, the art of seeing the world clearly before acting. This brings us to the third Stoic lesson: observe instead of react. In a society that glorifies instant responses, think rapid-fire Slack messages or viral clapbacks, patience is a superpower. The Stoics knew that hasty reactions often lead to mistakes, while careful observation yields control. When you react on impulse, you're a puppet of the moment, pulled by strings you didn't choose. But when you observe, you become the director, shaping the scene with intention. Warren Buffett, the billionaire investor, is a living testament to this principle. He doesn't chase market trends or panic at downturns. Instead, he watches, analyzes, and waits, turning patience into profit. His famous quote, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient," captures the essence of Stoic observation. It's not procrastination, it's strategy, a deliberate choice to understand before acting. Let's ground this in a modern story. Meet Carlos, a 40-year-old restaurant manager in Miami. His days are a whirlwind of demanding customers, short-staffed shifts, and supply chain headaches. One evening, a VIP customer complains loudly about a delayed order, berating Carlos in front of the staff. His instinct is to snap back, to defend his team's efforts. But Carlos, who's been reading about Stoicism, chooses a different path. He takes a step back, literally and mentally, and observes. He notices the customer's flushed face, the urgency in their voice, the way they keep checking their watch. Instead of arguing, he listens, nods, and calmly offers a solution, a complimentary appetizer and a promise to expedite the order. The customer softens, apologizes, and later leaves a glowing review. Carlos's restraint didn't just defuse the situation, it turned a critic into an ally. A 2023 study from the University of Chicago found that people who pause before responding in conflicts resolve disputes 40% more effectively, proving that observation is a game-changer. Observation works because it gives you perspective, the ability to see the forest for the trees. In Stoic terms, it's about stepping outside the chaos to assess what's really happening. Epictetus taught that events are neutral, it's our judgments that color them. When someone cuts you off on the I-95, your first thought might be, "What a jerk." But observation flips the script, maybe they're rushing to an emergency. How can I stay calm? This mindset doesn't just save you from road rage, it builds resilience. In today's polarized world, where every issue feels like a battle, observation is a lifeline. Imagine a heated family dinner where politics come up. Your uncle's shouting his views, your cousins rolling their eyes, and the tension's thick. Instead of jumping in, you observe. You notice your uncle's clenched fists, your cousin's defensive tone. You ask a neutral question: what makes you feel so strongly about this? And suddenly, the room shifts from combat to conversation. You've controlled the situation not by dominating, but by understanding. How do you build this skill in 2025's instant gratification culture? Start by practicing patience in small moments. When your boss sends a vague email that irks you, don't hit reply right away. Take 5 minutes to walk around the block, noting details, the smell of coffee, the sound of traffic. This resets your brain, letting you respond with clarity. Another technique is the 3-question rule. Before acting in any tense situation, ask, what's really happening here? What I want to achieve? What's the wisest move? This Stoic-inspired framework, backed by cognitive psychology, slows your impulse and sharpens your focus. For a daily habit, try a 10-minute observation exercise. Sit in a park or cafe and watch people without judgment. Notice their gestures, their pace, the stories their faces tell. This hones your ability to read situations, a skill that translates to negotiations, parenting, or even dating. Over time, you'll find yourself reacting less and leading more, earning respect for your quiet strength. The philosophy of observation ties into living well by prioritizing clarity over chaos. In American culture, where speed is worshipped, think Amazon's same-day delivery or Twitter's real-time trends, patience feels counterintuitive. Yet, it's what sets leaders apart. Look at Oprah Winfrey, who built an empire not by rushing but by listening, watching, and choosing her moments. Her interviews, like Buffett's investments, succeed because she observes the human heart before speaking. In a 2024 Pew Research survey, 62% of Americans said they feel overwhelmed by the pace of life. Observation offers a way out, a chance to slow down and see clearly. It's not about being passive, it's about being strategic, ensuring your actions align with your values. By observing, you're not just surviving the noise, you're mastering it. The emotional core of this lesson is its empowerment. Observation puts you in the driver's seat. You're no longer at the mercy of others' words or life's curveballs. Whether you're navigating a toxic workplace or a toddler's tantrum, your ability to pause and see clearly makes you unshakable. It's a skill that grows with practice, turning every challenge into a chance to shine. So, next time life tempts you to react, step back. Watch, listen, choose. You'll find that respect follows not from what you say, but from what you see and how you carry yourself. Having explored the power of silence and observation, we've laid a foundation for commanding respect through inner control. But how do these skills deepen when paired with patience, the Stoic virtue that transforms silence into authority? The next lessons will dive into practicing patience and building an image of mystery, showing you how to embody strength without saying a word. As we journey deeper into the Stoic principles that shape a life of purpose and respect, we've learned to master our minds, wield silence as a tool of power, and observe the world with strategic clarity. These practices lay the groundwork for a presence that commands attention without effort. But what elevates this presence into something truly magnetic, something that draws others in, leaving them curious about the strength beneath your calm exterior? The answer lies in patience, a Stoic virtue that transforms silence into an invisible shield of authority and mystery. The fourth lesson reveals how patience, exemplified by Epictetus's unshakable composure in the face of suffering, reflects self-mastery. By controlling your emotions through mindfulness, you become not just resilient but captivating, sparking curiosity about the inner power that keeps you steady. Let's explore how patience crafts an aura of mystique and why, in our fast-paced American culture, it's a game-changer for earning respect and living well. Patience is often misunderstood as passivity, a surrender to life's delays or provocations. But for the Stoics, patience is active, a deliberate act of self-control that radiates strength. It's the ability to stand firm when the world tempts you to react, to choose restraint over impulse, to let time reveal what haste obscures. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic sage, embodied this principle in a way that still chills the soul. When his cruel master twisted his leg until it snapped, Epictetus didn't scream or beg. He simply said, "You see, my leg is broken." No tears, no rage, just a calm statement of fact. His silence in that moment wasn't submission, it was a declaration of inner sovereignty. Physical pain could break his body, but his mind remained untouchable. This story, passed down through centuries, isn't just about endurance, it's about the mysterious power that patience bestows. When you refuse to be rattled, when you meet chaos with calm, you become an enigma, a person whose strength others can't help but ponder. In 2025's hustle-driven America, where instant gratification reigns, think one-tap Amazon orders or viral TikTok fame, patience is a rare commodity. We're conditioned to react, to post, to fix things now. Yet, patience flips the script, offering a countercultural edge. Picture Mia, a 35-year-old lawyer in New York City, navigating a high-stakes courtroom. Her opposing counsel is aggressive, interrupting her arguments, trying to unsettle her with pointed jabs. The jury watches, waiting for her to crack. But Mia, who's been practicing Stoic mindfulness, chooses patience. She listens to the taunts, observes the counsel's tactics, and waits for the right moment. When she finally speaks, her voice is steady, her argument razor-sharp, dismantling her opponent's case with precision. The jury leans in, captivated not just by her words but by her composure. Later, a juror admits, "There was something about her calm. It made me trust her." Mia's patience didn't just win the case. It crafted an aura of authority that lingered. A 2023 Yale study on leadership found that patient communicators are perceived as 35% more trustworthy, proving that restraint breeds respect. Why does patience create such mystique? Because it defies human nature's impulse to react. In a world where emotions spill freely, road rage on the I-95, Twitter feuds, workplace outbursts, someone who stays composed stands out like a beacon. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them through mindfulness, the Stoic practice of observing your inner world without judgment. When anger flares, you notice it, name it, and let it pass like a wave. When fear creeps in, you question its source. Is this real, or am I projecting? This inner dialogue, rooted in Epictetus's teachings, transforms you into a fortress. Others sense this strength even if they can't name it. They wonder, how do they stay so calm? What's their secret? That curiosity, that mystery, is what makes patience a magnet for respect. It's why figures like Nelson Mandela, who endured decades of imprisonment yet emerged with quiet dignity, captivated the world. His patience wasn't just resilience. It was a silent force that reshaped history. Let's apply this to everyday life. Imagine you're at a family reunion, and your uncle launches into a political rant that pushes every button. The table tenses, waiting for an argument. Instead of biting, you practice patience. You sip your coffee, listen to his words, and observe his passion. Maybe it's less about politics and more about feeling heard. When you finally respond, it's not with a comeback but a question. What makes this issue so important to you? The mood shifts. He softens, and a real conversation begins. Your restraint doesn't just defuse conflict. It makes you the person others turn to for wisdom. This approach works in any high-pressure setting, a tense parent-teacher conference, a heated work meeting, or even a first date. By pausing, you signal control, and that control is magnetic. A 2024 University of California study found that mindfulness practices like this reduce emotional reactivity by 28%, helping you stay calm and compelling under stress. How do you cultivate patience in a world that screams, "Go faster"? Start with mindfulness exercises that ground you in the present. Try a 5-minute daily practice. Sit quietly, focus on your breath, and when thoughts arise, work stress, that annoying coworker. Observe them without reacting. Label them worry, frustration, and let them drift. This builds the muscle of emotional control, making patience second nature. Another tool is the wait and see rule. When faced with a provocation, commit to waiting 10 seconds before responding. Count silently, breathe, and ask, will reacting help me here? This Stoic-inspired pause, backed by cognitive psychology, rewires your brain to prioritize reason over reflex. For a real-world habit, journal at night about a moment you chose patience. Maybe you didn't snap at a rude cashier or held back from a petty argument. Reflect on how it felt, how it shifted the dynamic. Over weeks, these small wins stack, crafting a presence that others can't ignore. The philosophy of patience ties into living well by prioritizing inner strength over external chaos. In American culture, where success is loud, think blockbuster movies or influencer clout, patience is a quiet revolution. It's a refusal to chase fleeting wins, a commitment to lasting impact. Think of Serena Williams, whose on-court composure under pressure made her a legend. Her ability to pause, refocus, and play strategically wasn't just skill. It was patience, a stoic virtue that turned her into an icon. In a 2024 Mental Health America survey, 41% of Americans reported feeling rushed daily, leading to burnout. Patience offers a way out, a chance to reclaim your time and energy. It's not about waiting for life to happen. It's about choosing when and how to act, ensuring every move aligns with your purpose. By embracing patience, you're not just surviving, you're commanding the stage of your life. The emotional heart of this lesson is its promise. Patience makes you untouchable. No matter the storm, job loss, heartbreak, public criticism, you can stand firm. Your calm a shield that draws others in. It's a skill that grows with practice, turning every challenge into a chance to shine. So next time life tests you, pause, breathe, let patience weave its magic. You'll find that respect flows not from what you do, but from who you are in the quiet moments. This aura of mystery, built on patience, sets the stage for our fifth lesson. How silence itself constructs an image of enigmatic power. While patience shapes your inner strength, silence projects it outward, creating a presence that captivates without effort. Picture a crowded party. Music blaring, voices overlapping, everyone vying for attention. Amid the chaos, one person stands out. They're quiet, observing, their calm gaze cutting through the noise. You're drawn to them, not because they're loud, but because their silence feels like a story untold. This is the Stoic art of building a mysterious aura, a lesson embodied by figures like Keanu Reeves, whose understated demeanor commands global admiration. As Seneca wrote, silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings, a truth that positions silence as the fruit of experience, a mark of wisdom that sets you apart without fanfare. Let's explore how silence crafts this image and how you can harness it in today's world. In American culture, where self-expression is celebrated, think reality TV confessions or viral personal essays, silence is a bold departure. It's not about hiding. It's about revealing less to reveal more. Keanu Reeves, a Hollywood star who shuns the spotlight, is the perfect example. He doesn't flood tabloids with opinions or chase clickbait headlines. Instead, he lets his actions, his kindness, his work speak. When he does talk, whether sharing a story of loss or a simple "whoa," the world listens. His silence isn't aloofness. It's a deliberate choice that creates an aura of depth. People speculate about his thoughts, his resilience, his inner world, and that curiosity fuels his mystique. Seneca's insight rings true here. Silence is earned through trials. Those who faced pain, loss, or betrayal learn that words are often unnecessary. Presence alone can say enough. In 2025, where oversharing is the norm, 68% of Americans post daily on social media, per a 2024 Pew study. Silence is a radical act that makes you unforgettable. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Aisha, a 29-year-old graphic designer in Los Angeles. Her workplace is a whirlwind of creative pitches and loud personalities. Aisha used to feel invisible, struggling to compete with her chatty colleagues. After reading about Stoicism, she decided to lean into silence. At a team brainstorming session, instead of jumping in with half-formed ideas, she listened, sketching quietly as others spoke. When the discussion hit a wall, she shared a single, polished concept, backed by a mock-up she'd crafted in silence. Her boss was floored, praising her quiet brilliance. Aisha's restraint didn't just showcase her talent. It made her the person everyone watched, wondering what she'd do next. A 2023 MIT study found that reserved contributors in group settings are rated 20% higher for creativity, as their silence signals thoughtfulness. Aisha's aura wasn't forced. It was built by letting silence do the heavy lifting. Silence works because it taps into human psychology. We're drawn to the unknown. When you speak less, you create space for others to project depth onto you. Think of a first date where you listen more than you talk. Your date shares their dreams, their fears, and later says, "You're so interesting," not because you said much, but because your silence made them feel seen. This aligns with Seneca's wisdom. Silence is a byproduct of growth, honed by life's challenges. In today's world, it's a shield against the pressure to perform. Imagine scrolling X and seeing a viral argument. Instead of piling on, you stay silent, maybe sharing a thoughtful post later. Your restraint stands out, earning likes not for noise but for insight. Silence also preserves your energy, letting you focus on what matters, your goals, your relationships, your peace. How do you build this aura practically? Start by practicing selective speech. In conversations, aim to say 20% less than you normally would. Listen fully, then respond with concise, meaningful words. If you're tempted to fill a pause, resist. Let the silence linger. Another technique is the observe first rule. In any new setting, spend the first 5 minutes watching. Notice who's talking, who's listening, what's unsaid. This Stoic habit, backed by social psychology, makes your contributions sharper. For a daily ritual, set aside 15 minutes to reflect in silence. No phone, no noise. Write one sentence about a challenge you faced and how you could respond with less. This builds the habit of restraint, making your presence magnetic. Over time, people will notice your calm, your depth, and they'll lean in, curious about the strength behind your silence. The philosophy of silence as mystery ties into living well by prioritizing substance over flash. In America, where personal branding is king, silence is a quiet rebellion. It's a refusal to chase clout, a commitment to authenticity. Think of Maya Angelou, whose pauses in speeches were as powerful as her words. Her silence wasn't empty. It was full of experience, drawing listeners into her world. In a 2024 APA study, 55% of Americans said they feel pressure to overshare online, leading to stress. Silence offers freedom, a chance to define yourself on your terms. It's not about being distant. It's about being deliberate, ensuring your presence aligns with your values. By embracing silence, you're not just existing, you're captivating. The emotional core of this lesson is its empowerment. Silence lets you shine without striving. You don't need to be the loudest to be the strongest. Whether you're a student in a lecture hall or a manager in a boardroom, your quiet presence can shift the room. It's a skill that grows, turning every interaction into a chance to inspire. So next time you're tempted to speak, pause. Let silence tell your story. You'll find that respect follows, drawn to the mystery you embody. Having uncovered the power of patience and silence in crafting an enigmatic aura, we're ready to explore how these qualities translate into action. The next lesson dives into using calmness to earn respect, showing how your composed presence can transform any situation and make you a beacon of trust. Our journey through Stoic wisdom has revealed the transformative power of mastering your mind, wielding silence strategically, observing with clarity, and cultivating patience to craft an aura of mystery. These principles don't just shape how you navigate life. They redefine how others perceive you, turning your presence into a quiet force that commands respect. But how do you translate this inner strength into a tangible impact that shifts the dynamics of any room? The sixth lesson unveils the art of calmness, a Stoic virtue exemplified by Barack Obama's unshakable poise under pressure. Far from passivity, calmness is a vibrant expression of intelligence and dignity, a choice to rise above impulsive reactions and hold your ground with grace. By refusing to be rattled, you not only maintain your stature but inspire awe in those around you. Let's dive into this lesson and discover how calmness, rooted in Stoic philosophy, can elevate your life in today's chaotic world. Calmness is often mistaken for indifference, a lack of passion or drive. But in the Stoic tradition, it's the opposite, a deliberate act of self-mastery that radiates wisdom. When the world pushes you to react, to shout, to lose control, choosing calmness is like standing firm in a hurricane. It's a signal that you're not swayed by fleeting emotions or external noise, that your mind is a fortress built on reason. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, embodied this principle in a way that captivated the world. During his 8 years in office, he faced relentless scrutiny, political attacks, global crises, and a polarized nation. Yet, whether addressing a heckler or navigating a financial meltdown, Obama never lost his cool. His steady gaze, measured tone, and purposeful pauses turned potential chaos into moments of clarity. When provoked, he didn't lash out. He listened, reflected, and responded with precision. This composure didn't just defuse tension. It earned him respect as a leader who could be trusted to steer through storms. A 2023 Pew Research study found that 67% of Americans admire leaders who remain calm under pressure, highlighting calmness as a universal marker of credibility. Let's bring this to life with a modern story. Meet Jordan, a 33-year-old nurse in Chicago's bustling ER. His shifts are a whirlwind. Patients in crisis, families panicking, doctors barking orders. One night, a distraught father yells at Jordan, blaming him for a delay in his son's care. The room tenses, colleagues freeze, expecting a confrontation. But Jordan, who's been exploring Stoicism through a mindfulness app, takes a different path. He breathes deeply, meets the father's eyes, and listens without interrupting. He notices the man's trembling hands, the fear behind his anger. When he speaks, his voice is calm. "I hear how scared you are, and we're doing everything we can for your son." The father's shoulders drop, and he nods, tears welling. Later, he apologizes, thanking Jordan for his steadiness. Jordan's calmness didn't just de-escalate. It transformed a volatile moment into one of connection. A 2024 University of Michigan study shows that calm responses in high-stress settings increase trust by 40%, proving that composure is a superpower in any high-stakes environment. Why does calmness command such respect? Because it defies the chaos of human nature. In a culture where emotional outbursts are normalized, think reality TV meltdowns or viral X-rants, someone who stays steady stands out like a beacon. Calmness signals that you're not a slave to your emotions, that you've chosen reason over reflex. Marcus Aurelius captured this in Meditations. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This Stoic truth reminds us that external events only shake us if we let them. When you meet a crisis with calm, you're not just protecting your peace. You're projecting a strength that others can't help but admire. It's why figures like Abraham Lincoln, who navigated a divided nation with quiet resolve, remain icons of leadership. His calm amid the Civil War wasn't weakness. It was a lighthouse for a nation in turmoil. In 2025's fast-paced America, where stress is a badge of honor, 56% of workers reported burnout in a 2024 Gallup poll. Calmness is a radical act. We're bombarded with triggers. Traffic jams on the I-405, passive-aggressive emails, the pressure to keep up on social media. Yet calmness offers a way to rise above. Imagine you're in a heated team meeting and a colleague snaps at your idea. The room waits for your comeback. Instead, you pause, take a slow breath, and respond with a measured, "I see your point. Can you clarify what you mean?" The tension dissolves, and your colleagues lean in, impressed by your poise. This isn't about suppressing anger. It's about channeling it through mindfulness, noticing your emotions without letting them steer. A 2023 Stanford study found that mindfulness reduces impulsive reactions by 30%, helping you stay composed and respected in any setting. How do you cultivate calmness in a world that thrives on urgency? Start with a daily mindfulness practice, even just 5 minutes. Sit quietly, focus on your breath, and when thoughts arise, work stress, that annoying neighbor. Observe them like clouds passing. This Stoic exercise builds the habit of pausing under pressure. Another tool is the calm anchor technique. In tense moments, anchor yourself to a physical sensation, like the feel of your feet on the ground or the rhythm of your pulse. This grounds you, letting you respond with clarity. For real-world practice, try the no reaction challenge. When provoked, say, by a rude driver or a snarky comment, commit to staying silent for 10 seconds. Ask, "Is this worth my energy?" This pause, rooted in Stoic reason, rewires your brain for composure. Journal nightly about a moment you stayed calm, noting how it felt and how others responded. Over time, these habits make calmness your default, turning you into the person others trust in a storm. The philosophy of calmness ties into living well by prioritizing dignity over chaos. In American culture, where hustle is glorified, calmness is a quiet rebellion. It's a refusal to let external noise dictate your worth, a commitment to inner strength. Think of Michelle Obama, whose poised grace under public scrutiny made her a global role model. Her calm wasn't detachment. It was a beacon of intelligence and humanity. In a 2024 APA survey, 62% of Americans said they crave more calm in their lives, citing stress as a barrier to happiness. Calmness offers a path forward, a way to navigate life's challenges with purpose. It's not about ignoring problems, it's about facing them with a clear mind, ensuring your actions reflect your values. By embracing calmness, you're not just surviving, you're leading. The emotional core of this lesson is its empowerment. Calmness makes you a rock in the storm. Whether you're a teacher managing a rowdy classroom or a parent soothing a toddler's tantrum, your composure shifts the energy around you. It's a skill that grows, turning every challenge into a chance to shine. So, next time life pushes you, pause. Breathe. Let calmness be your strength. You'll find that respect follows, drawn to the dignity you embody. But calmness is only half the equation. What happens when you pair it with the strategic choice to stay silent, preserving your energy and peace? The seventh lesson explores how silence avoids conflict and conserves your strength, a principle inspired by the samurai's disciplined restraint. In a world that thrives on arguments, think endless debates or workplace power struggles, choosing silence is like a warrior sheathing their sword, acting only when it matters. Let's dive into this lesson and see how silence becomes your shield against chaos. Silence, in the Stoic tradition, is not retreat but a calculated choice to protect your mind from unnecessary turmoil. It's the decision to step back from petty disputes, to conserve your energy for battles that truly count. The samurai of feudal Japan, revered for their discipline, lived by this code. They didn't draw their blades for every slight, they reserved their strength for moments of true necessity. A warrior who fights every skirmish exhausts themselves, but one who chooses their battles commands respect. This Stoic principle applies just as powerfully today. In an era where arguments erupt over a misinterpreted text or a political post, 74% of Americans reported online conflicts in a 2024 Pew study. Silence is a lifeline. It's the choice to walk away from chaos, to preserve your serenity and focus on what aligns with your purpose. Consider Lena, a 27-year-old teacher in Austin, Texas. Her school's staff room was a hotbed of gossip and cliques, with colleagues often bickering over curriculum changes or parent complaints. Lena used to join in, defending her ideas or venting frustrations, but it left her drained, her evenings consumed by replaying arguments. After discovering Stoicism through a YouTube channel, she decided to try silence. At the next staff meeting, when a colleague made a snide remark about her lesson plans, Lena didn't bite. She nodded, listened, and stayed quiet, focusing on her breathing. The room moved on, and the colleague, expecting a fight, seemed unsettled by her calm. Later, a senior teacher pulled Lena aside, praising her maturity. By staying silent, Lena not only avoided stress but gained respect as someone above the fray. A 2023 Cornell study found that people who avoid unnecessary conflicts are rated 25% higher for emotional intelligence, proving silence is a mark of strength. Why does silence save energy and prevent conflict? Because arguments, especially trivial ones, are emotional black holes. They drain your mental resources, leaving you tense, distracted, and disconnected from your goals. Think of a heated family dinner where everyone's debating politics. You jump in, voice rising, and 20 minutes later, nothing's resolved, just raised blood pressure and strained relationships. Now imagine staying silent, listening without reacting. You notice your sister's passion, your dad's defensiveness, and realize the argument's more about emotions than ideas. By not engaging, you keep your peace and shift the dynamic, maybe even steering the talk to lighter ground. This Stoic choice, backed by psychology, conserves your energy for what matters: your work, your loved ones, your growth. A 2024 UCLA study showed that avoiding reactive arguments reduces stress hormones by 22%, highlighting silence as a health-preserving strategy. In today's hyperconnected world, silence is a radical act of self-preservation. Social media platforms like X thrive on instant reactions, clapbacks, hot takes, endless threads. But every comment you type, every debate you join, chips away at your mental bandwidth. The Stoics, like Seneca, knew that not every provocation deserves a response. He wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Silence lets you step back, assess what's worth your energy, and act only when it aligns with your values. Imagine a coworker sends a passive-aggressive email, copying the team. Your instinct is to fire back, proving them wrong. Instead, you pause, ask, will arguing change anything, and choose silence, addressing the issue privately later. This restraint not only keeps you calm but makes others rethink their approach, sensing your control. How do you practice silence in a noisy world? Start with the silence filter before engaging in any conflict. Ask, is this necessary? Will it matter in a week? If the answer's no, stay quiet. This Stoic tool, grounded in critical thinking, saves you from pointless battles. Another practice is the energy audit at day's end. Journal about a moment you chose silence over argument. Note how it felt, how it preserved your focus. For a daily habit, try a 10-minute, no-reaction walk, stroll without your phone, ignoring the urge to check notifications. Focus on your steps, the breeze, the world around you. This mindfulness exercise, inspired by Stoic reflection, builds the habit of restraint. Over time, you'll find silence becomes your default, a shield that keeps you centered and strong. The philosophy of silence as a conflict avoidance tool ties into living well by prioritizing peace over pride. In American culture where winning is king, think debate shows or corporate ladder climbing, silence is a quiet revolution. It's a refusal to let ego drive your actions, a commitment to what lasts. Think of Fred Rogers, whose gentle silence on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood disarmed audiences, creating space for connection. In a 2024 Mental Health America survey, 59% of Americans said arguments strain their relationships. Silence offers a way out, a chance to build bridges instead of walls. It's not about conceding, it's about choosing battles that align with your purpose, ensuring your energy fuels growth, not grudges. The emotional heart of this lesson is its liberation. Silence frees you from the cycle of conflict. Whether you're navigating a toxic workplace or a heated family chat, your choice to stay quiet makes you untouchable. It's a skill that grows, turning every provocation into a chance to rise above. So, next time the world baits you, pause. Choose silence. Let it be your strength. You'll find that peace follows, along with the respect of those who see your restraint. Having explored calmness and silence as tools for respect and peace, we're ready to see how these qualities shape leadership. The next lesson dives into how silence empowers you to lead with authority, showing that true influence comes not from words but from listening and acting with purpose. Our Stoic journey has woven a tapestry of wisdom, from mastering the mind to wielding silence, observing with clarity, cultivating patience, projecting mystery, and earning respect through calmness. Each lesson builds a foundation for a life of purpose and influence, but how do these principles elevate you to inspire others, to guide with authority, and to grow into your fullest potential? The 8th lesson unveils the power of silence as a leadership tool, exemplified by Tim Cook's strategic restraint at Apple. Far from being passive, silence in leadership is a dynamic force, listening deeply, creating pressure in negotiations, and revealing true talent within a team. It's the mark of a leader who doesn't need to shout to be heard. Let's dive into this lesson and explore how silence can transform you into a formidable leader in today's fast-paced American landscape. Leadership is often equated with charisma, bold speeches, or commanding presence, but the Stoics knew that true influence lies in restraint. Silence, when used deliberately, is a leader's secret weapon, amplifying their impact through listening and discernment. Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, embodies this principle in a way that sets him apart. Unlike his predecessor Steve Jobs, known for his fiery intensity, Cook leads with quiet precision. In meetings, he doesn't dominate, he listens, observing each speaker's ideas, their hesitations, their strengths. When he speaks, his words are measured, often cutting through noise to deliver clarity. This approach has built a culture at Apple where voices are heard and decisions are grounded in insight. During high-stakes negotiations, Cook's silence is legendary. His pauses create pressure, prompting counterparts to reveal more than they intended. A 2023 Harvard Business Review study found that leaders who use strategic silence in negotiations achieve 28% better outcomes, proving that quiet can be louder than words. Cook's leadership shows that silence isn't absence, it's presence, a tool to steer with wisdom. Let's ground this in a modern story. Meet Rachel, a 38-year-old project manager in Denver. Her tech startup was a pressure cooker, tight deadlines, clashing egos, and a team prone to derailment. Rachel used to lead by talking, filling meetings with directives to keep things on track. But it backfired, her team felt micromanaged, and morale dipped. Inspired by a Stoic podcast, she tried silence. At the next meeting, she opened with a question: "What's our biggest roadblock?" Then stayed quiet, listening intently as her team debated. She noticed who spoke with data, who deflected, who sparked ideas. When she finally spoke, summarizing their insights and assigning clear roles, the room energized. Her silence didn't just uncover solutions, it revealed her team's true capabilities. One engineer later said, "Rachel's quiet makes us step up." A 2024 MIT study supports this. Teams led by listeners outperform directive-led teams by 22% in innovation as silence fosters ownership. Rachel's shift made her a leader who didn't just manage, she inspired. Why does silence make a leader powerful? Because it shifts the dynamic from control to collaboration. In a culture where everyone's vying for airtime, think corporate boardrooms or X threads, silence is a rare signal of confidence. It says, I don't need to prove myself, I'm here to understand. This Stoic principle, rooted in Epictetus's call to listen twice as much as we speak, creates space for others to shine, revealing their strengths and weaknesses. In negotiations, silence is a pressure cooker. Your pause makes others fill the void, often disclosing more than planned. Imagine a salary discussion. Your boss offers a modest raise, and instead of countering immediately, you stay silent, holding eye contact. The pause prompts them to sweeten the deal, sensing your resolve. Silence also sharpens your perception, letting you spot talent, like the quiet coder who solves problems others miss, or red flags, like the loud talker who skirts accountability. A 2023 Yale study found that silent observation in leadership increases team trust by 30% as it signals fairness and depth. In 2025's American workplace, where hybrid teams and Zoom fatigue are the norm, 64% of workers reported meeting overload. In a 2024 Gallup poll, silence is a leadership edge. It cuts through the noise, focusing teams on what matters. Picture a virtual meeting where everyone's talking over each other. As the leader, you mute yourself, listen, and wait for a lull. When you unmute, your concise summary, here's what I'm hearing, and here's our next step, realigns the group. Your silence didn't just clarify, it commanded attention. This aligns with Seneca's wisdom. Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. Leaders who've faced challenges know that words are finite. Silence amplifies their impact. In a culture that rewards extroversion, choosing silence is a bold act of leadership, one that sets you apart as someone who leads with purpose, not ego. How do you harness silence as a leader? Start with active listening in every interaction. In your next meeting, commit to speaking last. Take notes, notice who's contributing and who's posturing. When you speak, summarize and direct, showing you've heard. Another tool is the silent pressure technique. In negotiations or conflicts, pause for 5 seconds after an offer or argument. Let the silence work, prompting others to clarify or concede. For daily practice, try a listening audit after a team interaction. Journal who spoke most, who added value, and how your silence shaped the outcome. This Stoic reflection sharpens your ability to lead through observation. Over time, your silence will become a hallmark, a signal that when you speak, it's time to listen. A 2024 Stanford study found that leaders who prioritize listening over speaking boost team morale by 25%, proving silence is a catalyst for trust. The philosophy of silent leadership ties into living well by prioritizing impact over noise. In American culture, where thought leadership often means loud branding, silence is a quiet revolution. It's a refusal to chase clout, a commitment to substance. Think of Angela Merkel, whose reserved style led Germany through crises. Her silence wasn't weakness, it was a beacon of stability. In a 2024 APA survey, 58% of Americans said they crave authentic leadership, citing distrust in flashy personas. Silence offers a path to genuine influence, ensuring your leadership reflects your values. It's not about being distant, it's about being deliberate, creating a legacy of trust. By embracing silence, you're not just leading, you're transforming. The emotional core of this lesson is its empowerment. Silence lets you lead without forcing. Whether you're guiding a startup or a family, your quiet presence inspires others to rise. It's a skill that grows, turning every interaction into a chance to shine. So, next time you're tempted to dominate, pause. Listen. Let silence lead. You'll find that influence follows, drawn to the strength you project. But leadership is only part of the equation. What happens when you turn silence inward, using it to fuel your own growth? The 9th lesson explores how silence fosters self-development, a principle embodied by Bill Gates's Think Weak retreats. Far from emptiness, silence is a vast space for reflection, realignment, and inner strength. In a world that drowns out your inner voice, silence lets you hear yourself, paving the way for transformation. Let's dive into this lesson and see how silence becomes your greatest ally in becoming your best self. Silence is often seen as a void, a lack of action or thought. But for the Stoics, it's a fertile ground where the mind expands, regenerates, and evolves. In a culture that glorifies constant output, think 24/7 hustle or endless Instagram stories, silence is a radical act of self-care. It's the choice to pause the noise, to listen to your own heart, to grow into the person you're meant to be. Bill Gates, one of the world's most influential thinkers, harnessed this through his Think Weeks. Twice a year, he retreats to a secluded cabin, free from phones, emails, or distractions, armed only with books and a notebook. In this silence, he reads, reflects, and dreams, generating ideas that shaped Microsoft and global philanthropy. His solitude isn't isolation, it's a deliberate space for clarity, proving that silence is the crucible of growth. A 2023 University of Chicago study found that reflective solitude boosts creative problem-solving by 32%, highlighting silence as a catalyst for innovation. Let's bring this to life with a story. Meet Sam, a 30-year-old freelance writer in Portland, Oregon. His days were a blur of deadlines, client calls, and social media hustling, leaving him burned out and uninspired. He felt stuck, his creativity drying up. After reading about Gates's Think Weeks, Sam carved out his own version, 1 hour each Sunday, phone off, sitting in his backyard with a journal. At first, the silence felt awkward, his mind raced with to-dos. But he persisted, writing down stray thoughts, questioning his goals. Why am I writing? What do I want to say? Over weeks, he noticed patterns, fear of failure, a craving for meaning. This silent reflection led him to pitch bolder projects, landing a feature in a major magazine. Sam's silence didn't just spark ideas, it realigned his purpose, making him feel alive again. A 2024 Harvard study supports this. Daily reflection increases life satisfaction by 20% as silence fosters self-awareness. Why does silence drive growth? Because it strips away distractions, letting you face yourself. In the quiet, you hear the thoughts you've buried, ambitions, doubts, truths. This Stoic practice, rooted in Marcus Aurelius's nightly reflections, is like holding a mirror to your soul. You ask, am I living my values? What's holding me back? And the answers, though sometimes uncomfortable, guide you forward. In 2025's hyper-connected world, where 71% of Americans check their phones within 10 minutes of waking, per a 2024 Pew study, silence is a rebellion. It's a refusal to let algorithms or notifications define you. Imagine skipping your morning scroll to sit quietly, asking, what's one thing I want to achieve today? That pause sets your intention, aligning your day with purpose. Silence also sharpens your perception, letting you notice subtle cues, your own fatigue, a colleague's stress, a new opportunity, fueling growth in ways noise never could. How do you make silence a growth tool? Start with a daily quiet minute before work, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask, what do I need to hear today? Let thoughts arise without judgment. Another practice is a weekly mini-think week. Dedicate 30 minutes to unplug, maybe in a park or your bedroom, and journal about your goals, fears, or wins. Ask, what's working? What's not? This Stoic habit, backed by psychology, clarifies your path. For real-world application, try silent observation in daily life. During a commute, notice your surroundings, the hum of traffic, a stranger's smile, without checking your phone. This trains you to see details, sparking ideas and resilience. Over time, these silent moments build a stronger, more purposeful you, one others admire for your depth. A 2023 APA study found that regular introspection boosts emotional resilience by 27%, proving silence is a cornerstone of growth. The philosophy of silent self-development ties into living well by prioritizing inner wealth over external noise. In American culture, where grind is a mantra, silence is a quiet revolution. It's a refusal to chase busyness, a commitment to meaning. Think of Toni Morrison, whose novels emerged from silent mornings of reflection. Her quiet wasn't empty, it was a space for genius. In a 2024 Mental Health America survey, 66% of Americans said they lack time to think, citing overwhelm. Silence offers a way out, a chance to realign with your purpose. It's not about withdrawing, it's about diving deep, ensuring your growth reflects your soul. By embracing silence, you're not just existing, you're evolving. The emotional heart of this lesson is its liberation. Silence empowers you to become your best self. Whether you're a student chasing dreams or a parent seeking balance, your quiet moments shape who you are. It's a practice that transforms, turning every pause into a step toward greatness. So, next time life overwhelms, pause. Listen to yourself. Let silence guide you. You'll find that growth follows, along with the strength to lead your life with purpose. Having uncovered silence as a tool for leadership and self-development, we're ready to explore its ultimate art, knowing when to break it. The next lesson dives into the power of speaking at the right moment, showing how well-timed words can shift destinies and make the world listen. Our Stoic journey has been a profound exploration of self-mastery, from controlling the mind and wielding silence to observing with clarity, cultivating patience, projecting mystery, earning respect through calmness, leading with quiet strength, and growing through introspection. Each lesson has built a framework for living with purpose and commanding respect, but the final piece of this puzzle is the art of balance, knowing when to let silence speak and when to break it with words that resonate. The 10th lesson unveils the power of speaking at the right moment, a Stoic skill exemplified by Martin Luther King Jr.'s transformative oratory. Silence is an art, but a well-timed word can shift destinies, spark revolutions, and defend what matters most. By speaking sparingly but with quality, you mark yourself as wise, leaving a legacy that echoes beyond the moment. Let's dive into this final lesson and discover how to make your words a force for change in today's fast-paced world. Silence, as we've learned, is a powerful tool, a shield, a strategy, a space for growth. But the Stoics, from Seneca to Epictetus, understood that silence is not an end, it's a means to amplify the impact of your voice. Knowing when to speak is the ultimate art, a delicate dance of restraint and action. A single sentence delivered at the perfect moment can change the course of a meeting, a relationship, or even history. Martin Luther King Jr., a beacon of moral courage, mastered this art. On August 28, 1963, he stood before 250,000 people at the Lincoln Memorial and declared, "I have a dream." Those 4 words, backed by a vision forged in silence and reflection, didn't just inspire, they ignited a movement, reshaping America's fight for equality. Had King remained silent, fearing backlash or failure, history might have taken a different path. His choice to speak, not to fill the air but to defend justice, shows that words, when chosen wisely, are a spark that can light the world. A 2023 Stanford study on influential communication found that concise, value-driven speech increases persuasion by 35%, proving that quality trumps quantity. Let's bring this to life with a modern story. Meet Tara, a 34-year-old community organizer in Minneapolis. Her neighborhood was divided over a proposed development project. Some saw jobs, others displacement. At a tense town hall, voices clashed, accusations flew, and the moderator struggled to keep order. Tara, who'd been studying Stoicism, had spent the meeting in silence, listening to residents' fears and hopes. As the room neared chaos, she raised her hand. When called, she stood, paused, and spoke. "We all want a better future. Can we agree to focus on solutions that protect our homes and create opportunity?" Her words, calm and clear, cut through the noise. The room quieted, heads nodded, and the discussion shifted to collaboration. Tara's silence had built her credibility. Her speech, rooted in shared values, turned a standoff into progress. A 2024 University of Michigan study supports this. Well-timed interventions in group conflicts resolve disputes 40% faster, highlighting the power of speaking with purpose. Why does speaking at the right moment matter so much? Because words, when scarce, carry weight. In a culture drowning in noise, think 24/7 news cycles, hot takes, or endless Zoom calls, people crave clarity. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, knew that excessive speech dilutes impact. He wrote, "Let your words be few and let them be effective." A leader who speaks only when necessary commands attention, their voice a signal that something vital is at stake. This principle shines in everyday life. Imagine a workplace debate where colleagues bicker over a project's direction. You listen, observe, and wait. When the arguing stalls, you offer a single, solution-focused idea. The room turns to you, not because you shouted, but because your restraint made your words matter. This selective speech, rooted in Stoic wisdom, marks you as wise, someone who values quality over ego. A 2023 Yale study found that concise communicators are perceived as 30% more credible, proving that less is often more. But knowing when to speak isn't just about timing, it's about purpose. The Stoics taught that speech should serve virtue, truth, justice, or the greater good. Speaking isn't for self-aggrandizement, but for impact. Consider a moment of injustice. A coworker is unfairly blamed, or a friend faces bullying. Silence might feel safe, but as King's example shows, staying quiet can enable harm. Speaking up, not to argue but to defend what's right, is a Stoic act of courage. Picture yourself at a family dinner when an uncle makes a biased remark. The table tenses, waiting for someone to act. You pause, then say, "I don't think that's fair. Can we talk about why you feel that way?" Your words, calm but firm, shift the mood, inviting reflection over conflict. This isn't about winning, it's about standing for your values, a choice that earns respect. A 2024 Pew Research study found that 62% of Americans admire those who speak thoughtfully against injustice, highlighting the power of principled speech. In 2025's hyper-connected America, where oversharing is the norm, 78% of adults post daily on social media. Per a 2024 Pew study, speaking selectively is a radical act. Platforms like X reward rapid-fire responses, but Stoic wisdom calls for restraint. Instead of joining every thread, save your voice for moments that align with your purpose. Imagine seeing a viral post spreading misinformation. Rather than arguing in the comments, you craft a single, fact-based reply linking to a credible source. Your restraint stands out, earning likes for clarity, not noise. This aligns with Epictetus's advice: we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. By speaking less, you ensure your words hit harder, shaping perceptions and outcomes. In a world where attention spans are shrinking down to 8 seconds, per a 2023 Microsoft study, concise, purposeful speech is a superpower. How do you master this art in daily life? Start with the value test. Before speaking, ask, will this add truth, clarity, or good? If not, stay silent. This Stoic filter, grounded in critical thinking, ensures your words matter. Another tool is the pause and assess technique. In any heated moment, wait 5 seconds, observing the situation. Ask, is this the moment to speak? What's my goal? This prevents impulsive outbursts and sharpens your impact. For practice, try a speech audit. At day's end, journal about a moment you spoke. Did it serve a purpose? Could silence have been better? This reflection, inspired by Aurelius's meditations, hones your timing. For real-world application, focus on one conversation daily where you aim to say less but mean more. Maybe in a team meeting, wait until others speak, then offer a single solution-driven point. Over time, your selective speech will mark you as wise, someone whose voice commands the room. A 2024 Harvard study found that purposeful communicators boost group cohesion by 25%, proving that well-timed words build trust. The philosophy of speaking wisely ties into living well by prioritizing impact over noise. In American culture, where speaking your truth is a mantra, Stoic restraint offers a counterpoint. It's a refusal to chase clout, a commitment to meaning. Think of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whose rare but incisive remarks on the Supreme Court reshaped legal history. Her silence wasn't passivity. It was preparation for words that mattered. In a 2024 APA survey, 65% of Americans said they feel overwhelmed by empty talk, craving authenticity. Speaking at the right moment offers a path to genuine influence, ensuring your voice reflects your values. It's not about being loud. It's about being unforgettable, leaving a mark that lasts. The emotional core of this lesson is its empowerment. Your words, when chosen with care, can change the world around you. Whether you're a student advocating for change or a parent guiding a child, your well-timed speech shapes futures. It's a skill that grows, turning every conversation into a chance to lead. So, next time you're tempted to fill the silence, pause. Wait for the moment. Speak with purpose. You'll find that impact follows, along with the respect of those who hear you. As we conclude this Stoic journey, let's reflect on the arc we've traveled. We began by mastering our minds, learning to control thoughts amidst chaos. We embraced silence as a tool of power, observation as a strategy for clarity, and patience as a mark of mystery. Calmness earned us respect, silence preserved our peace, and quiet leadership inspired others. Through introspection, we grew, and now, with the art of speaking wisely, we've learned to balance silence with action. These 10 lessons, drawn from the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and modern exemplars like Martin Luther King Jr., form a blueprint for living well in 2025's frenetic world. They teach us that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in mastering ourselves, crafting a life of purpose, resilience, and influence. In today's America, where division runs deep, 69% of adults reported social polarization in a 2024 Gallup poll. These Stoic principles are a lifeline. The pressure to react, to post, to win every argument is relentless, but you can choose a different path. Start each day with a moment of mindfulness, asking, what can I control today? In conflicts, pause, observe, and speak only when it serves truth or good. Carve out silent moments, 5 minutes without your phone, to hear your own heart. These small acts, rooted in Stoic wisdom, build a life of calm and impact. Whether you're navigating a toxic workplace, a strained family dynamic, or your own ambitions, These tools empower you to rise above noise and lead with dignity. A 2024 Mental Health America study found that daily reflection and restraint reduce anxiety by 22%, proving that Stoic practices aren't just philosophy, they're practical medicine for modern life. Now it's time to act. Join the ZENLIGHT 8 community on YouTube, where we explore timeless wisdom to transform your life. Subscribe, hit the bell, and dive into our videos for more insights on living with purpose. We're building a tribe of thinkers, doers, and dreamers. Be part of it. Let's keep this conversation going. In the comments, share your thoughts on Lesson 7, about using silence to avoid conflict and save energy. Have you ever chosen silence over an argument? How did it feel? What did you learn? Your story could inspire someone else. So drop it below and let's grow together. Thank you for joining this journey. Now go out there, master your mind, and make your moments count. The world is waiting for your wisdom.